This month marks Penguin's 13th anniversary and Waddles' 13th birthday.
And you're invited to his birthday bash. Join us as we speak to our co-founders and general manager about the last 13 years of Penguin's incredible evolution.
Broadcasting from the Penguin Air Plumbing and Electrical Studio, I'm your co-host Jay.
And I'm your host, Princess.
And this is the Penguin Pro Show.
Welcome back to the Penguin Pro Show, and a big welcome to my co-host Jay, a familiar face for those of you who watched season 1. Welcome, Jay.
Thank you. Thanks for having me back. It's been a little while. We were just talking about that. It's been a while since it's been on air, and speaking of that, got a couple of great guests with us here today. Will and Wade, co-owners, co-founders, Penguin Air and Plumbing.
Yeah, excited to be back.
Excited to be back.
Thanks for the invite.
This brings back a lot of memories.
I know
Sure
this
does.
is super exciting for me because I've never done this with any of you before, so
It's going to be fun.
I'm pretty honored.
I know you're a new host, and
We used to have too
we
much
were the
fun.
old hosts.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we didn't get a lot done because we were goofing around the whole time. We had a lot of fun though.
Yeah.
I miss it.
We made a very difficult job for the poor editor on this stuff.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
But we always have fun.
I'm glad that you're the host now.
Thank you.
You're going to do well.
Thank you. So the whole reason that we're here today is this marks Penguin's 13th anniversary. So we've come together to really find out about how you feel that, the journey has taken you, ask you some questions, highlight some high points in Penguin's history, and and a little fun at the end.
13 years?
No, I was just going to say that 13 years went by really fast. That's for
Mhm.
sure.
It's been fun.
Yeah, it has been really fast. Like when you start thinking about
You've been 12
the
of
time,
that.
12 of that.
I just remember our very first office was maybe, $1,000 a month, what we
Mhm.
could afford.
1,000 square feet, probably.
You and I and a few employees behind Denny's.
Mm-hmm.
Couple trucks, not nice trucks. We have a picture in front of one. We took that photo in front of
can
a
show
nicer
that.
building. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
That ended up on the front page of the HVACR magazine, and it's how you kind of discovered I was back in business.
Yeah.
And then we took you out to 18 lunches, and you finally decided to come on board.
It was like 12.
So if you even go further back than that, Wade and I met in 2008. So we started in 2011.
Mhm.
Wade and I met in 2008 at a competitor here in town, and became instant good friends. And the competition was always there between us because we were comfort advisors. And Wade came to me and said, I think we can do this. And I said, nope, I'm not leaving. That's a little too scary for me. And but I always deep down inside wanted to do it. I knew how to do it, so to speak, I think. It was a lot of lessons learned. But Wade pushed me over the edge. I'm eternally grateful for that, because we wouldn't have what we have today. And we'll talk about that a little bit more, I guess, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I liked how you started, Wade, talking about 1,000 square feet. How it started really small. At what point did you know that it was time to move on to the next phase or the next location? Like, what was the mile marker for you?
Well, we got the suite next door, which wasn't pretty, but we needed more space for training.
Yeah.
Kind of like what we did here. And have some funny stories in that, but that building from some parties we had and stuff, team building parties, that was fun. That's another story, another podcast episode.
All the bloopers.
Yeah.
That's like the roast podcast.
That would be.
We were silly in the beginning, super silly. We had a lot of fun, and we were always there, and the Three Stooges, if you will. I mean, I miss those days, but and you grow and you have more responsibilities, and and HR and stuff.
We worked
gotta
super
behave.
hard. We worked super hard. We had a lot of fun, and that's one of our core values, right? Still to this day, is enjoyment. And but we had a lot of hard working days. I mean, long days. I was out selling. Wade was running the office. We knew we could sell AC units. We knew we were good at that. We just had to start somewhere, and we started with that. And then we brought on a technician within the first year. And then, of course, Jay saw that ad, and after about 5 lunches, he joined us.
Was it 5?
12, 18,
It was
24,
already-
something like that.
I said
Somewhere.
18. He said 12.
It was a lot of lunches.
I know it was more than 5.
But we're still grateful, Jay, too, that you did make that leap and you believed in us.
I am too.
Because
I mean, it's been
That
an
was
amazing road.
We didn't
getting
have
here.
really much to offer you at the time. You were a technician. But as we look back, it was the hard work that we put in and the many long days and lots of training, lots of failure, but lots of successes too along the way.
So Jay, what made you take the jump?
Wade and I had a relationship from before, and we had stayed in contact. I worked with Wade at his previous business before he sold that, his first business, and we had worked together for quite a while, had a great relationship. We kept a great relationship, and we kept in touch throughout the 7 years in between. We had always stayed in touch, not a ton, but always touched base with each other. And then I still had his number, of course, from when we were staying in touch, and I saw their business they were starting up, and it was more just I called to say congrats, and then that's when the conversations kind of started, and the 5, 12, 18 lunches, whatever it was, started. And I think the biggest thing is seeing and knowing the determination that they had. They wanted to grow. They wanted to work hard. They wanted to put in the work. They wanted to build something, and I wanted to be a part of that. And that was really the biggest thing, is realizing that. And the changeover, the company that I was at before was a great company, but I was there for 7 years, and they didn't want that. And I could see that in their ownership, and I could see just from the little bit of time on the multiple lunches I spent with them that what they wanted, and I wanted to be a part of that.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. The conversations that I've had with both Wade and Will, I mean, you've had that vision, right? That focus. And I'd also like to know what caused both of you to choose Jay to be your general manager. What qualities did you see in him that, really inspired you to help him grow and promote and really, lead the business for you?
I just remember Jay worked harder than anybody else. He put in the hours. He was there, first guy there. He was the last guy there. He was always asking us what he could do to help us out. We did at the time have somebody in that position, and Jay outworked him. And we had to make a tough decision, but it's the best decision we made, I think, at that time. And also, I look back today, what we've been able to accomplish with what he has done now with the leadership team that we have. So it was just him. Like if anybody wants to accomplish things, it starts with hard work, and Jay and Wade and I will recognize anybody that works hard, because that's something that sticks out with anybody in any company. So that's what I think that propelled his growth at the beginning.
Yeah, and he was so good at taking any position and then just excelling at it. So it wasn't like, oh, I'm above being a technician or a service manager for that matter. Or I think you started with plumbing at one point or something, didn't you?
Yeah, go into plumbing a little bit.
So many positions.
When I first started, I was installing. The service jobs we sold was installing, and yeah.
Yeah, so he wasn't above, doing any position and growing, and never ever complained, which is rare in this business, or any business, but particularly this business. I mean, they're complaining if they're busy, they're complaining if they're not busy sometimes, it's just, he never complained. So it was easy to mold, and we all had to grow, and you don't want to put somebody in that role and it not work out. You can't go backwards, but when we knew, and you just took off from there for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And I think when we recognize that potential in other individuals, sometimes that they don't see in themselves, and then that comes to fruition, it just really builds that whole vision together, right? Because we don't necessarily look at someone and think that they fit into a box, or they may not see themselves that way, but it's that leadership, it's that, ability to mentor to help that person elevate. So
yeah, and that's
awesome.
a lot that I've learned from them throughout that, right, is they gave me the tools, but also let me learn on my own. Let me just kind of challenged me to learn on my own and figure stuff out. And they were always there to help and support with whatever I needed. And I think that is what has been a huge assistance in me building the leadership team that we have now, is learning how they helped me grow, and doing that same thing for them is showing them like, hey guys, here's your opportunity, run with it. And them doing that for me has made it, so much easier to now manage and turn into a great leadership team that we have now.
Yeah, I still remember when the light went off and Jay, that fire was burning and it was getting bigger and bigger. I think in 2016, he said, hey, I'm going to go out to a Nexstar event. And he came back, I think it was was it budget?
Yeah.
Budget planning workshop.
Mm-hmm.
And he came back and he said, we're the owners. And he said, we're going to do things differently. And we're like, okay, what do you got? And do you remember this? And he said, we're going to stop taking every job. We're going to be profitable. We're going to clean up some processes. And we did. And that was all on you, Jay. That when you took that bull by the horns and you got us in Nexstar and you got us right on that right track, that's what we, as owners, sometimes we get so overwhelmed with other things and fires, and that's one thing owners shouldn't be doing. But it was a lot of things where we couldn't see what was actually going on all the time. So have that third set of eyes, like Jay brought in, really is what in 16 started to build our Penguin to what it is today.
Yeah, we had learned from our previous employer where Will and I met, take everything, stick it to the competition. It just doesn't matter what the price is. If you're losing money, just take the job.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were always chasing revenue. It's all about revenue.
Yeah.
And really didn't become about profits until that
Mm-hmm.
transition.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of business out there, right, where you can take the ones you want and not the ones you don't.
Yeah. But I would say, huge kudos to you guys for allowing me to do that. Right?
Yeah, it was
And
a little risky.
yeah, there's been so many. I feel like that is one of the things that so many owners struggle with growth-wise, is they don't allow the people to help, right, to make changes. Because it was, right? You guys trusted me with that and trusted me with your baby a little bit to make those changes, which, one, did a ton for me as well, just to help grow and learn and go through that whole process. But, I think that's one of the big things that holds a lot of people back, is they don't allow that. And I've had to learn that with my management team. Like, hey, I have to trust them. Like, when they come to me with something, that if they have a better idea, like, I have to trust it. I have to let them run with it.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point. Yeah, and I've done that. I learned from that experience on how to better lead. I did that with Talia, and Talia will tell you that. Talia is our install manager. She's been here almost 8 years. And I just said, hey, you're going to learn. I'm going to teach you a few things, but you're going to have to take this on a lot further than I can. And she ran off with it. The list is long with our leadership team. Even with you, Princess, of what you take of the role here with Penguin and the culture and making it so wonderful for everyone to come to work. It's awesome. So,
I have questions because we just talked about Nexstar. I was sharing earlier that, even the whole Service Titan, who kind of had the idea or started that? Because when I went to Service Titan with you, Penguin's old logo is on there. We're walking down the hallways and they're like, Jay with Penguin is here. And I didn't understand the why. And then later on, I realized it was because, when they started and Penguin was in its early phases, you guys worked directly with their founders, and now it's, so successful and used in so many, trades or home services all across the country. So what prompted not just going with Nexstar or going with Service Titan, but really just knowing which way to point the direction or the arrow?
Yeah, that was these guys. That was
I think way too.
That's a whole kind of on the whole topic and the whole subject, was knowing that they had the insight and the passion to grow and to make the risks. And you'll kind of see throughout all this whole process throughout the years, we've made a lot of risks.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That was you guys, like, being able to, like, hey, we want to be different. We want to be the leaders of this. We want to try something new. And that was, Wade took that call with Ara at the time, which was the owner of Service Titan, founder.
Yeah, we never were afraid to spend money to grow. We weren't, like I said, we weren't really looking at the profit. So we were using, I won't say any names, but it was a software been around a long time, and we outgrew that. It just was starting to bog down a lot in conjunction with QuickBooks. And we were looking at one that everybody else is using, the big companies was using this other one. And then I remember talking to Will's brother-in-law, Daryl. He was very helpful often and has been hugely successful in this industry. And he said, you should look into this Service Titan thing that's come out. It's, the gorilla out there.
And this is in 2014.
How are you so good with the dates, man?
I don't know. I just remember.
2016, 2014?
I know.
I did look up numbers a year ago, and the first time that Penguin had numbers in Service Titan was in 14.
Whoa.
14 and 15. Mm-hmm.
I just know that you got the phone
You've
call.
You've been doing extra brain exercises?
Maybe. I'm getting a little smarter.
Oh, get some.
So yeah, he
What's
took that
the
phone
vitamin
call.
for memory? Ginkgo biloba
Is
or
that
something?
What's the secret? So Will was selling still, I think. You're out in the field or whatever. And I was in the office, our very first office, I remember, talking to Ara. And Ara was quite the sales rep and our salesman. And he was like, we don't do accounting. Because I was like, why don't you do all the same, all in one package deal, And he's like, well, QuickBooks is the gorilla, or I guess you'd call it the gorilla, the big one out there. And they're like, we're going to focus on this. And so, yeah, we took the leap. It wasn't cheap
easy
at all.
It wasn't easy.
And it was really important to me that they guide us and hold our hand and teach us the best practices and all that stuff. And they didn't, but we figured it out.
Yeah.
They were new. We were fairly new.
They had their plate full too, I'm sure. But
we were using an API to do reviews. So I had a friend that was a software guy, and he was APIing into their system. So what it's come today, what they've become, what Penguin's become, it's evolved quite to what it.
But that was a good move.
Never thought it would be.
It was a great move. Yeah.
Yeah, Service Titan was a big move. We got.
That was the thing. I can't stress enough that in any business, just spend the money. Don't be trying to give yourself a fat paycheck or relying on profit the first few years. Spend the money to get to a point to where you can provide the good service, build something that is fun and employee friendly and all that stuff. You know what I mean? Gives them
That's a good
room
point.
for growth.
I love that.
And then the chopper deal, that was instrumental too. I don't remember, was it 2 years in business, 3 years maybe? No, we were in the second office, the one where we had our upstairs.
Because in the past, you have said that that's really what put Penguin on the map, right? Or people today still talk about, they ask us if we still have the helicopter. That was a big risk that you took as well.
It was a huge risk at the time.
Why don't you tell that story too?
Yeah, I'll keep it short. But I'm sitting there watching the news. The only reason I watched the news is because we had a TV commercial that I wanted to see on Channel 3. And Scott Passmore comes on and is like, Bruce Hafner needs a new sponsor for the helicopter. And it was Fort McDowell News Chopper at the time. And right away I was like, dude, we got to call our ad agency at the time and get them on it. And then he did. But Bruce was more of I just want to deal with the owner's guy, and he was a handshake guy, and he was a really cool guy. And he, took us up in the chopper and wooed us, and we were like, we got to figure out how to do this. How much is it? I don't know if I should say. Should I? It was a lot.
That meant it was a lot.
At that time, where we were at in the business, it was a lot. Now it's not crazy, right, as far as advertising spend. And now it's that's kind of we spend on billboards and stuff. But
most people don't spend this much a year that we were spending a month just to have our name on the chopper. And that came with 20 commercials a month, I think, 5 a week or something. It wasn't a lot. And then he would take up our employees on occasion, that deserved recognition. He would take them up in the chopper. And then every year around Christmas, the whole family, we did a Christmas party at the hangar, and the kids would he called it like a sleigh ride, and he would fly them around and stuff. It was really cool. did that, but we had a struggle the first year paying when we got slow, and we came to an agreement. He worked with us and stuff, and so we stayed on, and then kind of did a deal where we paid less in the slow season, more in the busy season, but we ended up staying on that thing for 3.5 years, and had shelf life for a long time.
Still to this day. I think
But you bring up a good point too, right? Because even in business, you said, you paid more or less. Sometimes it takes that initiative or that ingenuity to evaluate your business, to reevaluate where, when to spend the money, when to pull back, and just to build on that relationship, right? Because sometimes we get, that gun shy or trigger shy, right? Or some people might just give up, but just the fact that you reevaluated and found a way to make it work just speaks for itself.
Yeah, and I'd say that's one of the huge aspects to not only spending the money, but stay the course. Like how many people spend the money? Service Titan was a struggle. I mean, that took us months and months to get right. Right? It took us forever. It seemed like a huge headache, and a lot of people would have quit. But right, we had to stay the course, and you guys were like, no, we're going to stay the course. And same with the chopper. It would have been easy to be like, we're going to get out of this thing. I mean, the results for that advertising piece didn't come in for quite a while before we really started to see those true results, and we were paying the bills without those numbers coming in. But staying the course was huge, and that's what you guys always stuck to.
Yeah, Will and I thought the same in a lot of things, but on marketing we went back and forth on, do we just go after Google leads, or do we spend money on traditional branding stuff that doesn't pay off right now? And I feel like I was always pretty committed with, we have to build this brand. And maybe it was ego, I don't know, but I was like, I don't want them to forget about us as soon as we stop paying Google. And never heard of you guys. I think if you build a brand, and it proved to be right. Like, you build a brand, you have some longevity there.
Yeah.
And I'm glad we did do that, because it has changed quite a bit, and especially in home services with Google and PPC. We were one of the first that were in LSA. That was good days. We were in the beta program with them. We were just getting leads on this LSA new program. So that changed quickly. So I'm glad we did stay the course with traditional branding, because that changed quickly. And that's one thing I would also say about, when running a business, you got to be able to pivot. And we made a lot of pivots. We made a lot of high-risk moves, but we are also able to pivot. And Wade and I and Jay, we work really well together, and still have that real strong bond that we can really lean on each other. Wade's a little more riskier than me. He's more entrepreneurial than me. Which was able to start the business, which was able to get Service Titan, which was able to get the chopper deal. I just wanted to, my world lived in, let's get revenue, let's sell. And then Jay was like great at, training and technical, and then he learned the numbers, and it just took off from there.
Yeah, Jay is definitely a strong numbers guy. And you may not see him, I may not see him do something for a while, and I'll ask him, and it just, his ability to just jump right back into it, evaluate, and have an answer is really spot on.
Yeah. Don't take this the wrong way, but way smarter than he looks, right?
He's still my boss.
I love the way
right?
to preface that. Don't take it the wrong way. no offense, but
well, smart.
In this industry, and I'm not knocking the industry, but there is a lot of ego-driven people in this industry, and it's fine. Wade and I never were. We just worried about Penguin, worried about our people, worried about our processes, which brought profits, those 3 Ps we talk about. So, it's all about the people. It's all about the people. And once we got the right people on the bus, that's when it really started to take off. And then those people really took a really strong hold on their departments and started processes that built their little businesses within the business, and then the profits came. And that's what I would say is, start with the people. And we can talk about people all day long here at Penguin, right?
Yeah.
All day. We could spend 8 hours here.
Yeah.
So,
and I would say, just with that aspect, making sure that the people, it always stays that way. You can never get too big to where it's not about the people anymore.
Never.
Right? They're never a number. They're still people, and to continue to grow when you get bigger, you have to keep it about the people.
And we've done that really well, and I'm so grateful that the relationships we have in this business, and it's just going to keep growing from here, because the people was what's taken it to whatever heights we want to take it to.
Well, let's talk about our penguin mascot, Waddles. I wanted to know who came up with it, and even some of, how did you envision, or what made you choose penguin? What made you choose to have Waddles a mascot? Because when I look at some of the other, companies that are out there, they don't have that signature brand or that signature mascot that we do, that we're able to, we're wearing Waddles. We're able to, have build interest for kids, and Waddles is just cool. I mean, everyone that sees him says, yeah, Waddles is a cool thing. So who came up with the idea, or what was some of that evolution process?
That was kind of a collab, but I mean,
what?
A collab, they call it.
Collab?
A collab.
Collab.
Oh, edit that. It's a collab.
Collab.
I was like, you
Hey,
are
it's always
taking,
have to have.
you are
Should we
taking
say
some
that
pico or
you
something.
look smarter than you?
Not even close. I do look smarter than I really am.
That's funny.
So going back to Waddles, but even before that, we did want a character. We wanted something marketable. So Penguin was available. Just to keep the story short, we were going through different characters. Rhino Air, that was taken. Penguin was available, so we jumped on it, grabbed it, started our website. Our old logo, you can show that too, what our old logo looked like. It was hand-drawn, I think. And then in 18,
Yeah,
no, let's go back to where Waddles got his name.
it was like an oval with a head on it.
Yeah.
The first penguin.
But he did his job. So he's here now, but with us today. But
Yeah, this one apparently has 1 million fibers.
yes, Pixar, I guess,
Yeah.
did him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
we've
guys
got-
that designed him, we're very proud of him.
Hmm.
They did a great job. with
Yeah, there's the
design.
animated, there's the newer one, there's some throwback hats here, on the front of the studio table here that just had some of the older.
Oh, that's the old one.
I've
Yeah.
seen a few different, versions of him.
Hmm.
Yeah, so he.
Yeah, tell them how Waddles came about.
Oh, the
Come
name.
up with Waddles.
Oh, the name of the penguin,
Mhm.
Waddles.
Waddles? Waddles.
Yeah, that's kind of what it is.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
that's, I've never heard that
You
before.
haven't heard this story?
No.
Remember Channel 12 was with us?
Yeah, was it
Jill.
Was
I
it
think
Jill?
Came up with the name.
Was it?
Or one of the
I feel like it
reps.
was somebody else.
One of our marketing reps.
So yeah, one of the marketing reps, in fun, was like, "Oh, you should call your penguin Waddles." It was a mix of Wade and Will, and it Waddles, right? And we're like, "Whoa, that was actually really brilliant."
Whoa, we're not that smart.
Yeah, like, that one's for free, right?
But we didn't run with it for a long time, and we didn't really use it much. And then eventually we did, as he evolved as a.
I think
character, more marketing
2018,
stuff.
going back on my years, 2018 is
Really,
when,
18?
yeah, so this is when VizTech, we'll get a shout out to VizTech.
How are you getting on? Did you study before this?
No, I'm a history buff. So this came in 18.
You're like,
This new
you're like
brand
Lindy.
refresh,
Grandpa Lindy.
we called it. And so that's Waddles today. And he's sporty now too. So you can see him on our shirts and our hats, and he's more sporty.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
This-
company did the graphics for sports teams, incredible graphics, and used Pixar and stuff. And so we did a whole rebrand, brand refresh or whatever, and then they put a sports twist on it. But I like it; it worked really well.
So there you go. You didn't know that story.
I did not know that story.
Yeah.
So outside of obviously some of the operational stuff, right? Nexstar, using Service Titan, the history of the name, the mascot. What are some of your favorite company moments or memories that you've done in the community?
Oh man, we've done
They've
so many.
So much of that.
Yeah, like so many of the community give back things have been, amazing. Like some of them, literally, you're sitting in the house, bringing a tear to your eyes. As we're helping out some of these people in the community. We just did one at the beginning of the summer. A poor girl that had struggled through some health issues. But as she was going through all of her health issues, she was actually really recommended to us, and her submission was sent in to us by the physical therapy place that was helping her recover. And it was mainly because after she recovered, she built a relationship with people in the physical therapy, and she would go back during the days on her own time to help with the people that she had met going through physical therapy. and volunteer and help them go through it. And all this time, she had no air conditioning in her home, like none. And we're talking, of course, our Phoenix summers with 120-degree air. I mean, I couldn't believe it when we went out to her house and did the presentation and, revealed to her that we were going to put a new air conditioning system on her home, at no charge. And she was trying to save to get an air conditioning system, but she had the health issues that, of course, we know what medical bills cost, and so she couldn't afford it. I was amazed at walking into that house. I was pouring sweat in just minutes of trying to, have discussions with her and go through and look at the house. And so it's just crazy that, some of the people that we were able to help that have went through all that stuff still have a giving heart and went through all that stuff.
I just want to mention the one where I think we were at Walmart paying off people's layoffs.
Yeah.
Layoffs.
During Christmas.
Layaway?
Layaway.
I didn't want to talk about it because I'd cry.
The layaway
We're talking
ones.
about
Yeah.
it.
And
There's nothing wrong with crying.
You know I'm the big baby here.
so anyway, we were paying off their layaways, and the look on their faces and their expressions, and it's so genuine. There's not scripted about it. They're like, "Oh my God, wow, that means the world." It's a layaway for something that wasn't, to most of us, that expensive.
Yeah.
And
And it wasn't. It was usually
That's
toys for their kids, games, all that stuff that they were doing. Because during Christmas season, they would come in to make a payment on their layaway.
And we'd come behind the
just
counter.
pay all of it for them.
Run the credit card.
And that was the same. We did a lot of the food bank. Remember at Thanksgiving, we were giving gift cards to just pay for a Thanksgiving meal, which, like you say, for most isn't a huge thing. But, for these families to be crying when you give them a gift card to a grocery store to go buy their own Thanksgiving dinner, and to have that reaction was just huge learning lesson as well, internally, but just an amazing thing that we were able to do and to give back to the community and help those people out.
Yeah, Wade and I are both from here, born and raised. So we do love this valley. It's given us a lot of opportunity to what we've become today. And that's why we like to give back. It's called Penguin Cares. And, it still goes on today. We have the foster children program that I just love. You guys do a great job with that. Jay, and what Channel 3 is, you do with them. But also, what we do internally for our internal customers, what we call our team here. There's a lot of things that nobody knows about that we do things for them. And so we're grateful to be able to do that and serve them and serve the community. We do Pat Tillman stuff.
I want to know more about like the Phoenix Children's. I know that
Phoenix
I've seen like the
Children's.
sign up
Oh,
front.
I
but
remember
what
taking
did you do there?
Ignite
Tour.
Hope. We did the Ignite Hope walk. You guys did the
did you go through the hospital?
on the Ignite Hope one. No, it
No,
was
the Phoenix
before
Children's
that.
Hospital.
Yeah, the Phoenix Children's.
go through
one.
there?
I did not with you guys. That was when you guys were there
That was at the very beginning.
doing the vehicle heat campaign with just before the summer.
Oh, the
you know.
Attorney General.
Yeah, people
thing.
not leaving, kind of that awareness for leaving pets and children in the vehicles during the
cars.
summer. Yep.
But when I took the tour of that hospital, and I don't have kids, so it doesn't touch as close to home for me as those of you with kids. But wow, that was eye-opening.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I wouldn't
Don't
have
cry.
the
Don't
energy.
cry.
I would.
Don't cry.
I wouldn't
I
be
mean,
able
children,
to. I would
just
be a
kids.
mess.
Mm-hmm.
you know, haven't
So,
even
yeah,
had
we
a
do.
chance at life yet, really.
Yeah.
You got to get back. You got to get back.
Okay. Well, let's wrap up this part so that we don't get Jay to start crying.
Never.
Impossible.
I know we can make bets all day. Right? I want to thank you guys for your time. I'm like,
No, this was
wipe
fun.
it up, take deep breaths.
This was fun.
Because we still have our birthday game fun.
Yeah.
We're still
Scavenger
supposed to, yes, we're supposed to have Waddles visit the studio as well. So, now that we've covered some of that history, we can bring it, modern day and get moving.
All right.
All right,
All
let's
right,
do it.
you ready?
Yeah,
Yep.
let's go.
Let's go.
We've been driving around, singing songs way too loud because we wanna. Picking up our love friends, fill up the car till it bends because we wanna. Yeah, we just wanna have fun. The trunk's full of wine. We're gonna stay up, have the time of our lives. The night is young, don't need anybody else. We came to party all night long, and we don't need no chaperone. Happy birthday.
outrageous.
Thank you for watching and celebrating Waddles' 13th birthday with us.
Don't forget to like, comment, share, and of course subscribe for more exciting content.
A big shout out to our amazing community and the entire Penguin team. Stay tuned for more adventures and milestones. Until next time.